I actually prefer the body of the old ones compared to the new ones, especially when... Hello guys, Adam here from Not Toys Action Figures, bringing you another comparison video. I don't know if I should call this one which is better, because I think it's obvious which is better. But I just did the review of this guy, the remastered Red Ranger, and I did want to go into have my own separate video where I kind of go into a bit more what the differences are between the remastered Red and the original Red, and which one I think is better. So yeah, I guess let's get into it. I think you can tell looking at it what the main difference is firstly this amazing new head sculpt. It looks so much better than the original. The original one always was too narrow. Like, it just didn't look anything like the actual helmet itself. Like, it doesn't feel like a helmet. It doesn't feel like anyone's head is inside there, in my opinion. It's just so narrow and kind of flat, like beakish almost. But yeah, it's what we had for a long time until I think the Trini version of the Red Ranger came out with the female body, and they gave her this head, and people swapped them over before this one came out. But yeah, that's the first big difference, and I think the second big difference is the color. You can see how much redder this guy looks. Maybe it's because this guy is old and has been on the shelf for a while, but he looks more red. He looks shinier, especially on the helmet. The helmet has way more kind of reflection to it, whereas his is a bit duller. Like, you do get some reflection in the right light, but if you look at his torso there, you can see how much light is reflecting on this bit. Like, this is like shiny, this is more matte. The other big differences are you go down to their belts. You can see that this has obviously the updated belt with the black stripes, and the morphers. The morphers here look really good. You can actually see the Tyrannosaurus. Here, it was kind of just dependent on how lucky you are. Like, it looks nice because it is actually like imprinted on. This one is more of like a decal that's stuck on. This one is actually imprinted on. But yeah, it was sometimes unlucky. I got quite lucky there with how centered it is. And also, I feel like you can see the Tyrannosaurus. But here, it looks much better. It's obviously way more shot accurate. And going down, or going on to the articulation, you can see here we have the updated joints on the arms. Most of it is pretty much the same. I actually prefer the body of the old ones compared to the new ones, especially when it comes to the butterfly joints, because I feel like the butterfly joints, if you go too far, maybe it's not so bad with the red, but on blue, when I go too far like this, it's just a massive gap. I can see everything in here. It looks like red isn't so bad. But yeah, it's updated onto that. These ones feel way more like this figure just feels actually like it's a lot heavier. It feels like it's more quality than this. This one feels really, really flimsy, especially I showed in the review how weak the legs are on him. Like his right leg is just completely floppy. This one just feels heavier. It feels like chunkier. Like, it feels like it's not going to break. This one does feel a little bit flimsy, even though these, this is, I think I've paid €40 for this one. This one, when it came out, was 20, so it's almost double the price. But going down, you can see, yeah, we have the pinless elbows, we have the pinless knees. On here, like I said in the review, you can kind of see that the knees are a different shade to the rest of the body. Same with the elbows. They're kind of darker, which is a little bit of a shame, but that's something that's been happening throughout Hasbro recently, that they're using different types of plastic, or, for example, I don't think this is the case here, for example, it might be like a black casting with red paint on it, so then it looks darker, stuff like that. Going down, everything else looks pretty similar. You can see here, actually looks like the diamonds are actually bigger on this one and more accurate than on there. Like, they're much higher. When you look at the boots themselves look very similar, but they are, I think, different casts. It's kind of hard to see through the camera, and also the shoes, they look very similar too. So there's not a lot of change. Like, the main change is obviously the pinless and the helmet. But yeah, so which is better? Like I said, I think it depends what you want to have. I think, to be honest, if you could get this belt off, like if we're just talking about the figures here, if you could take this belt off, I think I would just switch the head and put it on this one, and switch the belt and put it on this body, because I think the bodies are so similar that, like, I don't mind the pins on the old one because it matches in so well with him anyway. And he feels just stiffer, like he feels securer. This one just feels very, very like cheap in comparison to this, which is a shame. That might just be mine. I might have gotten just a bit unlucky with mine. But yeah, in my opinion, I feel like you can definitely tell like this one was made, you know, cheaper than this one because to cut corners or to save money or whatever. But yeah, that's what I would do. Unfortunately, you can't switch the belt out because I mean you can, but it's probably too much effort for me to do it. So I'm kind of happy to have him. But yeah, honestly, I feel like the body of this one is better, which is yeah a little bit concerning for Hasbro, but never mind. So if we then go on to, okay, well, what else is better? You can see we have all of the accessories lined up. Okay, you can see we have all of the accessories lined up, and that was kind of the thing that, you know, was the compromise to the price, was the amount of accessories that these remastered figures come with versus the old ones. So the old ones here, you see we had an alternative Jason head, we got one set of hands, we got one power kind of accessory, we got the sword, and we got the blaster. Here we have 2 extra sets of hands, we got the sword, we got all three versions of the blaster, the morpher, we got the dragon shield with the armband, and we also got the effect piece for the Morphin. Again, I mean, it depends what you like. I think, to be honest, I would have given up most of these accessories to have a Jason head. I think having an extra head sculpt is just something that is like a foundation of the Lightning collection, and I think for whatever weird reasons they decided not to put one in, it doesn't like necessarily for me outweigh the kind of cost initiative of you know paying more money but not getting an extra head sculpt, even if it was like, okay, we're doing a likeness to Jason but not his actual likeness. Like, you know, you see some companies do that, like Super Sevens, like they do like a stylized version, something like that. Or even if they're just giving us a Rocky head, like, and being like, all right, well, we can't do Jason because of the controversy surrounding the actor. Here's a Rocky head just so you have a head to morph, because I just think it's weird. But if we get into the accessories themselves, they are nice. You can see a bit more on my review, but I do just want to compare the sword and then the blaster, because I haven't actually compared the blasters of the remastered versus the old one. So just give me 1 second whilst I set up my camera. Okay, so we have the 2 different swords here. This one is the remastered sword, and this one is the original. And yeah, like I said in my review, I wasn't really expecting much from the swords themselves. Like, I didn't think they would change much. It looks like they're probably the same sculpt, but you can see like there's just more detail that's been added. Like the gold looks actually like golder here. They've added these 2 green gems on, which is really nice. They've added the gold inlay here, and also it looks like, actually no, it is the same. I thought the sculpting on here, I thought this one was like inlaid on the new one and this one was like on top, so if you ran your finger across it, it would be bobbly. That's not the case. They are both the same, so it is the same sculpt. This one has new paint apps on it, which make it look way nicer. I'm actually really impressed at how much better this looks, because I always thought the sword looked great. Like, I always thought they did a really good job with the original sword, but they've definitely made it look nicer. If we look at the blasters, again, I'm almost certain it's the same sculpt. They are pretty much exactly the same size. This one is the new one. This one is the old one, and you can see, like, yeah, they look very similar. This one actually has a hole in it, which is interesting. I'm sorry if the camera's not focusing properly. It's hard to hold them up. Maybe we'll do them one at a time. So yeah, this one you can see that it has a bit of silver on the end, and it has a hole in the end. So if you have any of the older blast effects, you could probably just stick it into there, which is nice. The old ones, they actually aren't the same sculpt. Now that I'm looking at them, the handles on the old ones feel really, really thin. Compared to these. Like, these are a lot thicker, which is funny to me because I still feel like these feel like toy guns in their hand, like they're holding toy guns. They don't feel realistic at all. Like, the size, they look really small, but you can see the difference. The other stuff we've already gone through in the review, but you can see that we did come with the different versions of the blasters, the holstered one and the blade. We have the hands. We have the opened hands for Morphin, like this. We have fists. We have the morpher itself with the Tyrannosaurus on there. which looks really nice. Then we have the Dragon Shield, which also looks cool. Still, I think it's weird that they included it with the remastered red. And we have the effect piece, again, a little bit weird since they didn't give us a civilian head to morph. But as you saw, if you watch my review, the Jason head fits on here fine, so you can just add him and do it. Do the morphing sequence anyway if you want. But yeah, anyway, to conclude, I think if you're going out and you don't have a Red Ranger figure, then you definitely should go and just pick this one up if you can. I think the head sculpt makes it look way better. I personally like the black stripes on the belt, and just kind of like, yeah, just proportionally the diamonds look more like the show to me. But there is some caveats with that, especially if you are like me and maybe got a bit unlucky. This one, even though it's new and more expensive and has nicer looking joints, it does feel flimsy. It does feel lighter. It does feel a bit cheaper. This one feels way more bulky, way more stable, and I prefer this old body, to be honest. I do like pinless, but I think comparing the two, I would definitely keep this body. But trying to find one of these is nearly impossible now. Like, there was some re-release stuff. Funnily enough, I found two on the shelf, two old ones on the shelf the other day, in my kind of one of my local kind of, not really a toy store, but like general shop that sells everything. Two Red Rangers on the shelf. Leave me a comment below if you've ever seen any on the shelf. I was really surprised. I don't know if I should buy them or not, to be honest, because they're so rare to see. But these guys are quite hard to get. They are a little bit more expensive. These ones, I think the pre-order sold out, so they might also be harder to get. But I feel like now would be the time you would be able to get them, if you're going to be able to get them. And it's nice if you want to pick up the Red Ranger and get the Dragon Shield, you do get that too. Like, again, I think it's weird that he was included with the Dragon Shield when it should just have been in with the Green Ranger. But yeah, whatever, Hasbro be doing what Hasbro do. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it helps you choose which Red Ranger you want to go for. I'm also going to do one with the Green Ranger, and you can check out my which is better I did with the remastered Yellow Ranger and the Super 7 Yellow Ranger. That one obviously has a bit more of a comparison because it's two different companies. Yeah, make sure you check them out. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, and if you want to see more, make sure you subscribe. Bye bye.